watching the game, man. It's 97-101. There's a timeout. So, I think that Thunder lost. So let's talk about it. To start it off, Russell Westbrook is the 2017 MVP. But he isn't a definite. It's not a shoo-in. That's why it's still up for grabs. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why it's still up for grabs and he isn't just a shoo-in and why people are still arguing about. Russell Westbrook has been hooping like one of the greats. So has James Harden. We've seen this before in the 62 season when Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and Oscar Robertson were in the three-way race for the MVP. Oscar was third in the running. He was averaging a triple-double. Wilt Chamberlain was second. He was averaging 50 points that season, and Bill Russell was first. You ask why? How does Bill Russell win when he's not averaging nearly the same stats that these other players are? The Celtics were having one of their greatest seasons ever. They went 60-2, and Bill Russell was making players around him better. MVP, they take stuff like your 100 per 100 possessions, like your efficiency rating, all that advanced stats. They take that into effect when you do that. The Thunder just got eliminated in the first round. I mean, like, you can hoop all throughout the regular season, but when you get to the playoffs and do nothing, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you can average 80 points per game throughout the season, but go to the playoffs and get swept, you know what I mean? So, what did your season really mean? They always say that a championship means more than a regular season. Yes, I get it. You guys say that Russell Westbrook has nobody on his team, blah, 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 blah. I get that. You gotta check out all the other MVPs that we've had in past seasons to see who else they had on their team, and if they had the same field goal percentage and shots attempted that Russell Westbrook's had. Like I said, I'm not getting into stats, but I've seen multiple games when Russell's had 50 points, but he's also attempted 40 shots and maybe only made 17 of them. The Rockets to everybody have always been like, you know, like a first and second round team, you know what I mean? This year, they're actually title contenders. Why? Great coaching decision by Mike D'Antoni to put James Harden at point guard and utilize and put his potential to the greatest maximum ability. I think I just made up a word. Not only is he scoring, but a lot of players on his team are averaging 10 plus points. He's making others around him better. They are winning games. You feel me? And yes, I know you guys are going to bring up the whole LeBron thing. And in my opinion, yes, he probably should be MVP every year because teams with him are an automatic championship contenders, and team without him might not make the playoffs. But I think, like LeBron said last year, we really have to look into what does MVP really mean. Let's say the Rockets would have got swept in the first round, or the Rockets would have lost. Then I'm automatically James Harden's out of the equation to me. To me, he's out. And if the Thunder made it to the third round, or maybe even like game 6 or 7 of the second round, and depending on how Russell was hooping, I'd probably give it to him. When you just go to the playoffs and you're just there, I understand he has no help, but you use all your energy during the regular season, you know what I mean, chasing these triple-doubles and blah, blah, blah. It just, what does it really mean? And I've seen multiple games when I've seen Russell Westbrook not guard his dude, go chasing for stats and blah, blah, blah. I mean, do you, but I've seen games when he's lost because he did that. For one game, he needed like 4 rebounds or something like that, so then he stopped guarding his dude, and they're up by 12, and then he stopped guarding his dude, and they end up losing by like 6 or 7 points. But yes, in my opinion, Russell Westbrook is MVP. Don't get me wrong, he's hooping like one of the greats, simple. But just know it still is up in the air. If James Harden and the Rockets win, let's say they win the finals, then I think you got to give it to him. And I know they don't account for the playoffs for regular season MVP because it's regular season, but maybe they just need to change it up, you know what I mean? But then you'll have players who are hooping, but maybe they didn't make it to the playoffs. But I'm no Mike Breen or Chris Broussard or however you say his name, so don't come at me. That's just how I'm looking at it, you know what I mean? But like I said, Russell Westbrook is the MVP. The only question is, does he deserve it?